would you be so kind as to actually play sound, please? Oh, there we go. Thank God. Fuck, I'm sorry. Okay. You know why we're here. You saw the title. You see what's on the screen right now. Start new test. I pinky promise I'm not a robot. Okay. I immediately hate all of these options. I immediately hate all of this and regret my life choices. These are the drop-down choices I was given. I utterly despise this. First of all, leave this word in last decade. Most people would agree that their coercively assigned sex at birth is not what they were, and nor something they will ever will be. Leave that word in last decade. This part is descriptive enough. Secondly, this decision is actually somewhat difficult. A decision between a trans and a cis woman isn't that bad, because at least definitionally, I'm only one of those things. But out of woman and trans woman, I'm picking the thing that I am, which is a woman. Because when I saw this the first time, I was like, I'm left to question in utter bewilderment. Why do they expect that my trauma will be part of my identity? You wouldn't make a separate category for woman brackets rape victim. How is this different? Now, I would say either I'm joking at my own expense and nobody else's, but like, I'm extremely not fucking joking here. Being a woman is, with no exaggeration, the best thing about my life. Not once has that second word, being trans, ever brought me a fraction of that joy. Ever. 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 It is a really unfair grouping, and it is unfair to me that I cannot do anything to degroup it, even on a personal level. I do think I had a point. I don't even know if I said this on stream, but when I did say it, I do think I had a point with the put woman before trans thing. Like, they've actually done that here. That's cool. But I don't know, I've been through some shit since then. I think I'm kind of just ready to drop the label as soon as possible. I'm not my trauma. I'm just a woman. I'm just a girl. I'm picking woman, and I should probably answer this out of character. Okay. Maximum accuracy. Show all questions, even though I'm gonna skip, like, probably 99% of the survey questions anyway. I still think that it's probably better to encompass everything. Third or more. I took this test a long time ago. Next. Should I zoom more? I feel like I should probably zoom more. Yeah, this is good. First question. I like to be dominated, especially in the bedroom. First, absolutely disagree. I don't really have much to say about this, aside from... No, I'd like to be on the other side of that, actually. I feel like in having tried this, I've done enough to say it's not for me. I like receiving pain during sex/BDSM and seeing the results of it, marks/bruises, makeup ruining by tears, etc. afterwards. It's really the word receiving that kills it for me. There. I know it's gonna ask me the other side later, so I have no issue just hard disagreeing with that. I prefer making the sexual decisions for my partner, as this gives me more control. I like making the decisions, but I don't necessarily agree it gives me more control. What do I do if I only agree with half of it? Like, I agree with the question, but I don't agree with the premise. What should I put? Is that like a here or here? Like, I agree with this part, but I don't really agree with the premise. I suppose I'll leave that as a mostly agree. Unless someone in chat wants to tell me that I'm taking the test completely wrong. My chat actually does work this time, I believe. I think the chat actually works. Yeah! That was definitely a much needed relief after how this week went in terms of streams and stuff. I don't mind a little playful resistance from my partners. In the end, I'll win anyway. I kind of want to agree with this on paper, but in practice, I'm... Oh, hi, Ma. Knew your ass would be here. In practice, I think I'm likely to interpret this as genuine discomfort and be put off by it. Even with, like, prior establishment that that's not the case, I feel like I'm still likely to misinterpret that as actual discomfort. So I think I'm gonna mostly disagree here. I'm only here because I like you and have nothing better to do. So, I mean, I knew the part about you liking me. I very much knew that. I like forcing my partner into submission much more than them submitting spontaneously. How do I feel about this? I feel like this ties into the last question somewhat, but it's worded in a less unappealing way. But I feel like it ties in somewhat. I think this is a slight agree. Feeling physically overpowered is... they're all worded in a kind of creepy way. I mean, the sadist questions definitely are. Like, I'll try my best to distance myself from the exact wording and just try to look at it in abstract with, like, what it's trying to say. So, like... But I don't know, that can be kind of hard. I'll keep doing my best. I'll keep doing my best. And I'll keep doing my best. And I'll hopefully stop repeating myself. Feeling physically overpowered is one of the most liberating sexual feelings. I mean, it's probably gonna happen a lot. Can't say I'm a fan, though. I feel like the only time I kind of want the only time I kind of want physical strength... The only time I kind of want physical strength called attention to is if it's like... They could physically overpower me, but they're not. Like, by choice, they're not. Like, if it's not that exact situation, just straight up don't bring it up at all. Yeah, like the I'll win anyway, and that question about the partner being bratty was weird, for example. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I can say, like, when I, like, do this, like, playful resistance, like, if I'm resisting, it's because I'm actually uncomfortable. But it's like... And it's playful because I don't wanna, like, make it sound like... How to word it? Basically, the reason it's playful is to protect the partner's feelings. So I'm likely... So on the other side, I'm likely to think the same thing. On account of, yeah, I would do this. I don't feel like I really elaborated on that one when I first went past it. I would like to have sex with multiple people at the same time. Yes, no further elaboration required. I enjoy it when people watch me being naked or having sex. I mean, that's kind of a touchy subject, given, you know... I believe in a more progressive society, shall we say. I might be up here, but that is not the society that we live in. Like, I think it's a slight disagree, but I want it to be I want it to be a hard agree. I would like it to be here. Ideally, I could command my partner, and they'd obey like a puppet no matter what I tell them to do. I see what you mean about the weird-ass wording. I see what you mean about that now. Why are my eyes doing such a weird thing right now? Do I need to up the sense? I think I do. Or maybe it's the lighting. I'm so fucking weird about this thing. Can't even be consistent with the amount my eyes are open. Ideally, I could command my partner and they'd obey like a puppet no matter what I tell them to do. Like... This is one of those, again, where, like, I see the vision, but the wording is... The wording's putting me off. Like, I want to be, like, here, but the wording is, like... If I agree to that, it's gonna sound creepy as fuck. But I actually kind of know what they're getting at. Chad, do you think that's intentional? I feel like the weird wording is probably to push people towards the more middle answers, right? Or at least it's probably that. I feel like it's just meant to be kinky. True. Like, for me, it leans too much into sounding non-consent. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. That's... yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. The assumption is that it's that you know it's consensual, so they can word it weirdly. Yeah. I mean, I guess this answer would be, like, probably, like, CNC. Just straight up. With that reason, I'm gonna leave it there. I don't like making sexual decisions. I prefer my partner to make them for me. Well, I don't need to make decisions, but, like, I disagree that I don't like to. Which means I'm cool with it. I love making my partners do really disgusting things purely for my own pleasure. I think we may have different definitions here, Quizmaker. Define disgusting. Define disgusting. I think with questions that are about resistance, it's not about real resistance, but just having a bratty partner. Yeah, I understand that. But like even then, like even then I still like leave the markers where they are because I'm still likely to misinterpret a bratty partner as actual resistance. And I'd just rather not deal with that headache, to be honest. I guess it depends where your line of disgusting is. So I think I'll go here. I don't wanna put it here. Because like it is a heavy it depends. Heavy it depends. I'm willing to try anything once, even if I don't think I will like it. I think I get to put that here, right? Because let me just check something. Like I'm gonna check like what the most recent like limit list I gave to someone was actually. Yeah, the most recent limit list I gave to someone, literally everything on it was something I had tried. I think I get to put that here at that point. I mean, I feel like it's okay to... I feel like, well, some stuff you just know you're not into. Like, yeah. Like, you probably have some limits that you haven't tried, but you just know are straight up unappealing. But, like, IMO, IMO, if you can count those on one hand, you get to be on fully agree. But like most of the, but like the where I'm coming from, it's like most of the stuff that's my limits is because I've tried it and didn't like it. Physically restricting my partner during sex/BDSM with clothes, attributes, rope chains, etc. is arousing. I don't believe I can really elaborate here because I don't have too many specific thoughts other than, yeah, mostly agree. See, yeah, it's so hard to do because the scale's so different for everyone. Because I put myself in one point high in the middle, and the other things I won't do is get physically dangerous stuff. I think that's probably much higher up the scale. I'm gonna be so for real with you. I would say that's much higher up the scale. But yeah, it really does. It's like it really does just depend on your personal definitions and how you interpret the questions. Maybe it depends on your interpretations of the questions more so than where you actually are. I genuinely don't know at this point. But I feel like that's probably interesting to explore. Like, are people answering based on where they're at, or are they answering based on how they're interpreting the wording of the question? I like sending nude or sexual pictures / videos of myself to others. Uh... Well, I would like to put myself lower down, but like I showed my boobs to like a dozen people this week in a single day. So I think I kind of have to be on the agree side. I guess it's sort of mood dependent, but like come the fuck on, everything is mood dependent when it's inherently sexual in nature. Like everything is mood dependent to some degree. Uh it's hard for me to decide too because you'd like a lot, but you don't do this with safety concerns. Yeah, sort of that too. I would never put my face in them. Like, I take pics with a face mask on and an eye patch on and my other eye covered, and I still think that I'm showing too much. God, being a VTuber really changes you, huh? I like to be totally helpless under my partner's disposal, physically unable to resist what they do. No, no to physically unable. No to that part specifically. Receiving care, being spoiled, etc. are some of the main things I'm looking for in a relationship. Uh, yeah. Yeah, I would say it is. But how much would I say it is? I think I would say it really fucking is. I have a thing for large age differences in sexual encounters or relationships. Gee, I wonder how my chat would answer this one, huh? I wonder how my chat might answer this one. What do you mean, whoa? What was the whoa to? Was that to that? How didn't you? Did you not take it? You should take it alongside me. You should actually take it alongside me. I think that would be really cool. Anyway. Wait, did I press the right button? Yeah, I pressed the right button. Cool. When it comes to sexual acts, my partner's discomfort is pretty much irrelevant if it gives me more pleasure. I guess that's another one where it's like if you click fully agree, then it's probably like CNC. While like the wording is like you only click fully agree if you're like a Giga final boss freak. I'm gonna go one down from that then. I enjoy playing or acting like a pet animal, dog, cat, pony, etc. I mean, sort of, but like not in a sexual way. So I think this is another one where it's like it depends on your interpretation. Because like if I'm answering generally, then I'm like here. But if it's specifically in a sexual way, then I'm like at the close to the bottom. I assume that it means specifically in a sexual way, right? I assume that it means that. Giving care, spoiling my partner, etc. is one of the main things I'm looking for in a relationship. No opinion. If nothing else, maybe my opinion will change when I am physically able to do so. Being treated with little or no respect during sex/BDSM arouses me. No, it makes me feel raped, actually. I think I'll skip all the dumb questions, though, because I'm confused about those. Yeah, that's fair. Although it is kind of weird, because, like, I ended up seeing other people's results, and, like, it lets you click and expand the definitions, and it has stuff like little as submissive spots, so it's like, I don't know, I kind of don't agree that that is inherently so. So is it kind of gonna miss the point if I remove the sub questions? Even if I'd rather include them and then say no, say hard disagree to 90% of them, just for maybe the 10% that actually gets more than 0%, right? You could be like, I guess I guess if you were to include the dumb questions, it would be like, you would disagree to all of them, because it would be like, I disagree until you explain what the fuck you mean. I'm not agreeing to something so vague. I suppose that would be a valid approach. I guess not, but it's hard for me to imagine a dumb little TBH. I need to make more propaganda then. Noted. There's no reason why sex would have to happen in private spaces isolated from the outside world. I mean, no reason. There are laws. There are laws and punishment for said laws, for breaking said laws and committing said crimes. Even if said laws may be somewhat bullshit. I'll often put up a fight in bed, but that doesn't mean I want to win that fight at all. No, it means I do want to win. It means I do extremely want to win. I find the romantic aspect in a relationship much more important than the sexual or kinky aspects. Okay, chat, chime in here. If I believe they're equally important, would I be putting my marker here on account of, like, it's the same? Or would I be putting it here because I disagree that it's more important because I think they're equal? Because, like, in my head, the disagree is, like, I disagree that it's more important because it's less important. This feels like another one of those where it's like, it depends on your interpretation of the question more so than your own opinion. But in the middle. Yeah. I guess I'll put it here for the... Yeah. I still have no idea where to put that question, but yeah, I will go closer to the middle. I currently have a master/mistress in my life. No, I do not. I do not. I would like to serve... No, I wouldn't like to serve. I would like to serve in a formal setting with explicit slave training, prescribed physical positions and rituals, etc. Yeah, no. I didn't even need to read the whole question. I would not like to serve. My ultimate goal in life is to please my partners, and there's hardly anything I wouldn't do to reach that goal. I suppose, but I kind of want to do that, but I don't know if I'd say my ultimate goal in life is that. I think I'd say that my ultimate goal in life is to find someone else who will say that about me. I have a need to constantly try new things. A sexual routine would never make me happy. I don't know, it depends. It super depends. So I guess no opinion? I don't really know how to elaborate. It just... There's so many layers to it that, like, I don't think I even want to try and dissect that right now. Maybe if I gave myself some prep time and went through the questions first, then I'd have something to say here. But that feels like it would be cheating. Extremely, extremely cheating. So go next page. Assuming I was single, I would like to join an existing couples or polygroups relationship for sexual and or emotional purposes. Yes. There's not really much more to say about that. Being physically restricted during sex/BDSM, with clothes, attributes, ropes, chains, etc., is arousing. I mean, sort of, but you'd have to go really light with it for it to still be palatable. But just broadly speaking, yes. I'll put that here. I enjoy feeling like a prey, hunted by a predator. No, no, I do not. I do not. I don't have any sort of specific fetish or non-standard sexual turn-on. I entirely disagree that I don't. Although that's another weird one, right? Because I know that putting that there, that is one of the few things I did get spoiled on. I know that putting that there means that I get 0% vanilla. But 0% vanilla is not something that I kind of agree with. Because that is still somewhat palatable. You're done with yours? I mean, I guess that's understandable since you're not speaking out loud between every question. Kind of like how some people have already finished the Cinder Dog. Because they're not spending 3 hours a night reading it aloud. God, you're so fucking cute, Ma. You're so fucking cute. So this is like, I guess the way I kind of want to approach this question is like, if I answer based on what the question says, I'm here. But if I answer based on the spoiler, then I'm like here. So I'll average it out to here. But then that feels also even more wrong because it's not based on either at that point. Or you start thinking about it, but it's so hard to respond. Yeah, exactly. Maybe I've made a horrible mistake by trying to stream this, because then that means I have to narrate my thoughts, which means I have to actually think. Maybe streaming this was a horrible mistake, actually. Yeah, I definitely do. The question says I don't have any sort of specific fetish or non-standard sexual turn-on. So I disagree that I don't, which means I do have them. Is that why your vanilla's so high? Did that question catch you out too? Pick the same option as me, just for liking older women and student teacher stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, I definitely go very hard. Like, I don't know. I feel like that question correlating to vanilla and that disagreeing that you don't have them, meaning you do, meaning that you're 0% vanilla, I kind of don't agree with that. Being part of a group of slaves that serves one master/mistress sounds like a life that would really suit me. I hope me clicking the answer for the subby questions before I've even finished the question is as funny to you as it is to me. I would like to be completely tied up during sex/BDSM. The word completely is kind of off-putting here. You'd have to go really light with it. Really light. I enjoy being kept as a pet, in a cage, eating out of a bowl, being petted/caressed, etc. I don't think so. I don't think so. I'll put that one here instead of there because I hesitated beforehand. Purely because I actually hesitated. To be honest, I'm kind of vanilla because it's mostly about what you, the person responding, like, and not your potential partner. That is true. But like the vanilla response, like being super vanilla would be like this answer. It would be like the agree section. Like this would be super vanilla. I love seeing the fear in my partner's eyes when they know I'm going to inflict pain on them. It's one of those again where it's the wording, but like, there definitely is a look. There definitely is that kind of like thing. I don't know if I'd call it fear, but I know what it's describing and I fully agree with it. There's an option to compute compatibility. I guess that would, but like, is it really reliable considering it depends on their interpretations of the questions more so than their answers? Like where the bars are and what answer they pick. I guess that would be a good bit of fun. Yeah, that does sound kind of fun if you're not taking it seriously whatsoever. I like to be sexually degraded and humiliated by my partners sometimes. Never. I like to be sexually degraded and humiliated by my partners. Never. I enjoy playing a different age than what I technically am. Absolutely not. I would like to be... Fuck. I just ruined the bit. I would like to be nothing but a 24/7 sex slave, i.e. not having any human interaction outside of sex and BDSM. No, you lost me at slave, once again. Treating my partner with little or no respect during sex/BDSM arouses me. That feels like another one with the wording. I think I'll put that there. The wording keeps me out here. The wording keeps me out of this button. But like, I see what it's going for, and like, it is appealing in a role-play scenario. I like being forced into submission, much more than submitting spontaneously. No, I would not. I would not submit, period, but if I did, I would submit spontaneously. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. That's what I mean. I feel like even if it goes kind of hard, that's still appealing, like, specifically in a roleplay scenario. I don't know. Like I feel like the top. Like I feel like fully agree. It kind of implies non-con a bit too much for my taste. I would like it when my partner is completely tied up during sex / BDSM. Yeah, mostly agree. I don't think I can really say much more on that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. Maybe that is why they made you vanilla. Maybe it's not based on just that one question. It's probably not if you said the no thing. But I have plenty of sexual fantasies that I'd like to try out, more than most of my kinky peers. Chat, do you think this is true? You're my kinky peers now. Do you say this is true? I'm pinging you like a grok. Ma, is this true? Error, try again. Fuck you, YouTube chat. Let me ping my friend. Ma, is this true? What do you mean you don't know? You know. You've seen the shit that swirls around my tiny little girl brain? All that air inside my head? You've seen that. I'm very adult. True. True. I'm. We're very serious adult women. With adult woman fetishes, don't forget. We've gotta keep using that phrase because it's very funny. I'm messaging my other friend about this. Let's see, of sexual fantasies that I would like to try out more than most of my kinky peers. Where do I put my thing to answer? Stream can wait until you respond. Okay, let's see what she says. So, lovely weather we're having, right, chat? I guess I'll do the rest of the answers on the page while we wait. I find it adorable when my partner acts or dresses childlike, or when they engage in childlike activities such as colouring in a colouring book or playing on a playground. Just go one over the middle? That's what I always do. What, do you not have actual kinky peers that you can ask for this? You know what? If we get to the bottom of the page and the friend still hasn't answered, then I'll go one over the middle. I'm gonna put that in slightly agree. Slightly agree. I could be sexually submissive now and be sexually dominant another time, either to the same or another partner. No, I couldn't be sexually submissive, period. I am willing to pay for porn if it really suits my sexual interests. No, I think I'd like to be on the other side of that trade, actually. I think I'd like to be on the other side. I'm totally cool with my partners having sex with other people. Yeah. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. In an ideal relationship, my partner would see me as a mere object. To them, I only exist when they're horny or when they need my service in some other way. Do not put me in that hell, I swear to the fucking Altana and Heidelin and fucking Zodiac. Making my partner suffer for my pleasure is one of the best things in life. That sounds like... This is probably the weirdest question in terms of wording. Because it's like... I'm gonna sound completely deranged if I fully agree with this. But kind of like roleplay scenarios of this. Yeah, that kind of is one of the best things in life. The other friend answered on this question and said one of the middle. And I'm gonna fully agree to this. Trying to redo mine, but I can't decide on stuff. Yeah, it is awful that you can't go back. Actually, awful. And we are halfway through. Living with a group of slaves owned by me and serving me would be my ultimate life goal. No opinion. No opinion. It's no big deal when things I try turn out for me. It's part of the risk, and it's a necessary part of discovering what works and what doesn't. Entirely agree with that. I am currently in a long-term relationship. I love the implication of all of these middle answers of this question. I love the implications of the middle answers. But I'm not. I have plenty of sexual fantasies which would at the very least be unethical to execute. Yeah, see, that's another one of those questions. Define unethical, please? I feel like this is another one of those where, like, it depends how you interpret unethical more than it depends on your fantasies. I mean, like, I guess with the wording on some of these earlier questions, that would be unethical, but, like, consensual roleplay scenarios? Are consensual roleplay scenarios unethical, even if they tackle unethical topics or questionable material? Is it really still unethical if it's safe, sane, and consensual? You consider your student-teacher thing unethical, but other stuff seems fully ethical, even if weird. I'm gonna place this in mostly agree, then. Thank you for the explanation. I would like to provide my partners with explicit slave training, i.e. train them in prescribed physical positions and rituals, etc. No, not really. It goes here because I hesitated, but, like, no, I don't think. It feels like there's a situation in which it would be palatable, but I'm trying to imagine one and can't. In questionnaires like these, I tend to go for the extreme answers rather than the middle answers. Chat, I can't even remember the first page. Where do I put this? Chat, where do I put this? Girl, what do you mean worse? That's not worse. In what world is that worse? A little below the middle. Okay. Maybe orange. I love the implication of this answer and this answer. Like, if I put it there, I'm like, okay, I extremely disagree that I go for extreme answers. And if you put it there, it's like, I guess I slightly agree that I go for extreme answers. The idea of that question also being on the same scale is hilarious to me. Way more than it should be. I enjoy keeping my partner as a pet, providing them with a cage, feeding them out of a bowl, petting/caressing them, etc. I think that could be cute. I think that could be cute. I'm gonna put that there. Yes. If I could not fulfill all of my partner's sexual desires, I would encourage them to see other people to fill the gaps. I would want to be given the chance to fulfill said desires. Otherwise, yeah. My partner having multiple partners while I'm monogamous, except for threesomes with my partner involved, sounds like a perfectly acceptable situation. Although the premise isn't applicable there because I would not be monogamous, period. I often behave in animalistic ways during sex, growling, howling, etc. No, I don't. I do not do that. In an ideal relationship, I should have no hard limits. My life should belong to my partner and they should decide what is good for me. No. In an ideal relationship, they should be fine with my hard limits and able to work around them and vice versa. And over time, we will learn to be better people for each other. I'll go a long way to make my appearance match my partner's desires. Within reason. Within reason. So I'm gonna put that there. I'm gonna slightly agree. This one's so weird, like, what do you mean no hard limits? Ew. Extremely ew. You're absolutely right. I feel like putting that anywhere other than the far end one is extremely questionable. Extremely questionable. If part of my sexual desires are not fulfilled with my partner, I would want to see other people to fill the gaps. Yes. The same as the one before, I would like to give them the opportunity to fulfill said gaps first. Otherwise, yes, I would expect to be able to see others. I enjoy feeling like a predator hunting its prey. I don't know. Neutral. Neutral. I go next. I like it when my partner takes on a nurturing and guiding, almost parental role in the relationship. Yeah. 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 Yeah, dude. They love that creepy wording. They love it, absolutely. I enjoy watching other people being naked or having sex. Right, real recognized real. Shakes your fucking hand. Yeah, agree to that one too, just as much. I'd like my partners to submit to me 24/7, and I'm willing to take the responsibility that comes with it. No, no. Firstly, are they willing to take the responsibility that comes with it? And secondly, no, I would need some breathing room. I like my partners to be completely in charge in the bedroom, ordering me around. No. No. Disagreeing with the word completely, specifically. If I could make some money from selling porn clips of myself, I definitely would. Fully agree. Here comes the grave wording again. Being in fear of what my partner is going to do to me physically is arousing. No, it's the fear. It's the fear, no. Fear is like the exact opposite of what I want from sex. Maybe there's something to be said about, like... Actually, I think the subjectiveness is important. To be honest, because, like, probably, like, me interpreting the sadist questions as, like, roleplay scenarios, and then the masochist questions as rape is probably... That's probably what's carrying the ranking. Because, like, now because I've answered like that, sadist is going to be up there and masochist is going to be down there, and then that's actually going to be a result I agree with. But, like, with softer wording, I probably wouldn't have answered the same way, which means I would get an answer that I would less agree with. Anyway, I feel the need to serve my partner and treat them with the highest respect, addressing them as a superior. Highest respect, I suppose, but serve and superior? No. $75. Talking back to one's dominant in a teasingly disobeying way should be part of the sub's fun. Mm, I mean, yeah, but like, I feel like that ties into the ones earlier, where it's like, I'm likely to misinterpret it as actual discomfort. So I'll put that there. When it comes to sexual acts, my own discomfort is pretty much irrelevant if it allows me to give my partner more pleasure. God, they're big fans of the creepy wording, huh? I don't need physical pleasure from sex. If my partner is enjoying it, that's all I need. I can think of a few situations, a few moods I've been in where that has been true, but I can also count them on one hand. God, that's what safe words for, so you won't misunderstand. Well, even with that, like that's still not enough. And I'm like, if you're not serious, I'm like, if you're not serious, just don't say it. So you raising, girl, that's what safe words are for, so you won't misunderstand. No, what safe words are for is for me to use it to get you to stop doing that. I enjoy verbally degrading my partner or calling them humiliating names during sex/BDSM. I think that's a very easy one to agree with. But how much do I? How much do I agree with it? I suppose I'm like here. If I'm hesitating, I'm probably there. But I don't know. I feel like I like this more than a lot of the other shit that I've put here. I like this a lot more than the other things I've put here. So I'm gonna bump that up to fully agree. Sometimes watching people having sex is more fun than participating. I mean, heavy on it depends. Heavy it depends. Like, I feel like even though the question says sometimes, I feel like the fully agree here would be saying actually all the time. God, why are the questions so fucking subjective? Also, I didn't know you had a girlfriend, Daddy. Congratulations. Did you find that one girl again, or is this someone else? But yeah, I'm gonna put that there. I enjoy it when my partner plays or acts like a pet animal. Dog, cat, pony, etc. Uh, yeah, I think I kind of agree with that. That is like I don't have super complex thoughts. I just think that's really cute. I'm gonna put that there. I like to be completely in charge in the bed. Suddenly I want Anna to get kicked out of here. What do you mean, girlfriend? You're so right, Ma. So right. Mostly agree to this question, by the way. Wait, no, I'm gonna fully agree. I thought we were all lonely loser lesbians. I mean, we were. We definitely were that. Oh yeah, we did most of the quiz, by the way. You missed, like, pretty much the whole thing. The idea of being tortured sexually is appealing. No, it's very unappealing, actually. Having to do really disgusting things for my partner's pleasure sounds pretty arousing. They love the creepy wording, huh? Define disgusting. Although I'm probably going to disagree anyway because it's a subby question. I would be willing to leave everything I have behind to live the BDSM life of my dreams. I mean, if I did that, I wouldn't be talking to you about it, right? I mean, I guess it depends what they define a thing. Because it's like, if they mean, like, no interaction whatsoever with the previous life, then I would hesitate. But if it's like just moving, then sure, that's easy. It's easy to agree to, like, just moving. So I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna put it there. In mostly agree. I like inflicting pain during sex slash BDSM and seeing the results of it, marks slash bruises, makeup running by tears, etc. afterwards. Oh hey, that answer is already ticked where I would have ticked it. Who did that? Who did that? I'm assuming it's more like just drop everything and move, TBH. True, but we did have this conversation where it's like, what feels more important to the way people answered this quiz? It feels like their initial interpretation of the questions is more important than how they actually feel about the thing. And but like Mar did the quiz like twice over before I even got halfway, because narrating it requires, like, continuing the thought, and continuing the thought means thinking a lot. And this quiz gets infinitely harder when you actually think about it, because the questions are vague, and I think that is on purpose. I could not always be dominant or always submissive. I need both. No, I do not need to be submissive. I could not submit, period. I like to dominate my partners, especially in the bedroom. Did you not already ask me that question? I feel like they already asked me this question. Or did they ask me the subversion? I like to sexually degrade and or humiliate my partners sometimes. This is true. This is very true. 90%. Is this the last page? This feels like the last page. I will naturally take on a nurturing and guiding, almost parental role in the relationship. Uh, Generally, being shy means that I don't really get the opportunity to do so, because I am not given the opportunity to do so. But I generally would. And like, yes to nurturing and guiding, no to parental. So like, I only agree with part of the question. The idea of torturing someone sexually is appealing. Torturing? I mean, I know what you're getting at, but like, torturing? Is that the word you want to go with? Because if that's the word you want to go with, then I only mostly agree. Then I only mostly agree. If my partner would really enjoy using me as a urinal, I would happily let them. See, this feels like the most subjective question so far, because which part of that is most important? Which part of that is most important? Is it the involvement of P, or is it being used? Which part of that is more important? Chat, how do you interpret this one? I guess it doesn't matter. I'll put it there because, like, I feel like using the using part is more important than the other one. Like, drop the submissive intonation, and I'm suddenly putting it like there. Like, bladder control is goaded. I'm gonna be so for real. Bladder control is goaded. Being used is completely unappealing. I'd like to submit to my partner 24/7 and see serving them as my life purpose. Oh, hey, that answer's already clicked. I wonder who did that and why it was such a thing. That is what I would have put anyway. So, I want my partner to serve me and address me as a superior. This is true. This is very true. I enjoy dressing or behaving like a child, or engaging in child appropriate activities such as coloring in a coloring book or going to a playground. Absolutely not. I enjoy being verbally degraded or being called humiliated names during sex/BDSM. No, no idea. Uh, this is just them plugging their other things, right? This doesn't impact the answers, I imagine. Yeah, I don't really care for the shameless plug. Let's see the results. Let's go from the bottom. Let's go from the bottom. Uh, Switch at 0%. Who is surprised? Submissive also at 0%. Those two hand in hand. Those two false recognizing false. I somehow doubt this surprises anyone. If this if this surprises you, then you probably have been listening to my stream with your headphones off. Slave at 0% is uh yeah, not surprising whatsoever. That's also not surprising whatsoever. I guess I did read all the masochist questions as being rape, so I'm not surprised that's at 0 either. Degrady also 0. Check compatibility. I'll do that after. Brat at 0%. Not entirely surprised considering the way I talk about Brat. And then the first 13% is pet. I am not at all surprised at this information. I did answer a only a slightly disagree to a few of them questions, and like I answered a slightly agree to one, and I guess that's my lowest actual thing. A rope bunny is such a cute name. Rope bunny is such a cute. And that's 15%. Vanilla at 8. How? I'm sorry. How is vanilla at 18%? I guess it is based entirely off that one question. I guess it is entirely that one question that does it. Because how else is that 18%? 30% primal hunter. Mostly focused on the natural instincts and letting an animal out. They keep up appearance, raw emotional, sexual feelings, all. Oh, fuck. All labels, rules, and protocols go out the window, and the prey can become a snarling, growling, glowing animal hell-bent on getting away from its predator. Uh, yeah, I kind of agree with that being low down. Particularly this, I do not. This doesn't really particularly sound appealing to me. I agree with that being so low down. Really, exhibitionist only 47%. I suppose in a better world that would have been higher. In a better world that would be higher. 55% mistress. Receive complete control and all responsibilities. Go a step further than dominance in exchange of the power exchange is present 24/7 and in all aspects of their life, except for negotiated exceptions such as their office jobs. Yeah, I don't. I'm not super feeling that. I'm not super feeling that one. Owner, 66%. Owners own pets / properties and take a responsibility over them on a 24/7 basis. Sexuality is not necessarily involved. In some cases, animal roleplay attributes are also provided, e.g. a cage for a pet. Again, no to the 24/7. No to the 24/7 part. 68%. I'm sorry, what the fuck? I'm sorry, what the fuck? I answered like pretty much all the brat questions negatively. Why are you giving me 68% brat timer? Hello? Hello? I answered like pretty much all the brat questions negatively. But I guess it really wants to push that on me, huh? 72% mommy. I do not agree with this. I do not agree with this being so high. I'm gonna be so for. I do not agree with this. Okay, take a build versus being as a guide as much as dominant. There's no dominate with a little treasure submissives with an iron fist and a velvet glove. But cuddly and affectionate on the outside while being as sturdy and hard on the inside as other dominants. Using subtle psychological mechanisms rather than brute power, they nurture their littles into obedience. Probably more like it takes from a lot of other dominant questions. Well, like answering just dominant broadly also increases those too. If so, then I can kind of see that. Because I don't think I answered with firm negativity to any of the dominant questions. Except the primal ones. So I can definitely see that. But I don't know, I don't really agree with either of these two being as high as they are. Super don't agree with that. Now, 84% rigor. They like to tie up and restrain their partners using rope and or other attributes, chains, cuffs, spread bars, etc. Whether for sexual enhancement, for art, or just for fun, they enjoy having their partners completely at their mercy. This is true. This is so true. 87% little. Is that being lower also taking from dominant questions? Because I also super don't fucking agree with this being as low as it is. Littles are submissive spirits that mix childlike innocence with naughty sexual curiosity. They long for nurturing, loving dominant who plays a guiding, almost parental role in their lives. While they require softer approach to be dominated than most other submissives, their submission can go a lot deeper and sometimes rival those of slaves. I'm assuming it's because I answered yes to a bunch of dominant questions and that marked it down. I'm assuming that it's that. But, like, that is the one submissive category that I'm actually fine with having over 80%. That is the one subby thing I'm fine with having over 80%. 89% experimentalists. Experimentalists want to have tried it all. An open mind and insatiable curiosity are their key features, and they will rarely form an opinion before they've gathered first-hand experience. They often have plenty of fantasies and will actively pursue to try them out. I agree with this placement. 92% non-monogamists. Non-monogamists do not see sexuality as necessarily a one-on-one thing. Whether this means they'll have several relationships, or just see other people outside of their relationship, or have even more exquisite constrictions, depends entirely on the person and situation. But they all have one thing in common. Their sexuality is more than just between them and one fixed partner. I firmly agree with this. Being poly is more important to me than being trans. I entirely agree with this being above 90%. 94% sadist. This enjoy inflicting certain types of pain on opponents, usually in sexual. Yeah, yeah. Uh, I'm surprised that's still 94%, considering that I said to most of the sadist questions that it was like, well, I can't fully agree to this because the wording makes it sound really creepy, but I guess I'll still slightly agree. I'm surprised that it's still 94% after that, but I agree with it being that high. 97% degrader. Degraders like to degrade and humiliate their play partners either by acting upon them in a degrading way or by forcing them to do things they consider degrading. I agree with that, too. 98% dominant. Dominants like to be in charge. Some like to have their partner obey them without questioning. Others like some resistance while taking it their way. Some are dominant only in the bedroom, others are dominant throughout their daily life as well. Unlike the top roles, giving pain, bondage, degradation, being dominant is more about who decides what happens and takes the responsibility that comes with it than about the content of what happens. Yeah, I agree with the placement and mostly with the definition. 100% voyeur. Always enjoy watching the nakedness or sexual activity of other people. Agreed with that. And we are at the top. 100% age player. Age players like to play with age as part of the kink. They typically take on a much younger or older age than they actually are, or prefer playing with a partner that does so. Attributes and behavior changes, such as pacifiers, coloring books, speaking in more childlike language, etc., are commonly paired with this to enrich the context and make it more appropriate for the played age. Age players typically match well with other age players. I agree with this as well. And that is the final result. Streaming this was probably a huge mistake since I overthought a lot of the answers, but I don't regret sharing it one bit. I don't regret sharing it one bit. You know what? I'm gonna ping the poll roll in this. Poll. Does literally any of this surprise you? So Mar, what is this test compatibility thing? If you're still here, as low as it is at 87%. I mean, yeah, as low as it is, of course I'm gonna say something like that. I do still think it's because some of it is too high, but I guess it's not surprising. That test is lower up the score randomly. What are you thinking? I think you might need to. Oh, fuck, I just closed the fucking tab. My bad. Okay. Test compatibility. So this is with Mars test. 80% compatible. This is above average. It seems you're naturally compatible. Happy exploration and best of luck to you two. I believe Ade and Anne also sent theirs in the Discord. I'll test it with them I'll test it with those two if they left the IDs in. What do you mean, what the fuck? How? It's probably going up to 72%, mommy. And just the age player being high. Let me look at yours again, actually. Yeah, age player is high for both of us, and it uh, ranks age players with other age players regardless of the context. 72% mommy is matching with your high little percentage. And then there's sub and dom, and rigger and rope bunny. And then exhibitionist and voyeur. You got a pretty high exhibitionist too. So that's obviously going off the voyeur. So. Yeah, Ada's ID is also in her screenshot. I will put that in now. UF3C. Yeah, congrats to us. FZ or Z if you're British. MS. What are we? 81% compatible. Mar, are you gonna take that? Are you gonna take Ada trying to one up you? Literally trying to one up you? I don't know how Ada's is so high actually, because her only green thing is submissive and everything else is like the yellow to orange range. I don't really know how that's as high as it is. I guess it weighs sub and dom more heavily than the sub kinks. Like than like the extra out of categories. Because like her at its highest thing is her 95% submissive, and then the next thing is 78. So I don't super understand what that's going on. Anne left hers in too, but her thing looks a lot like mine, where pretty much all of the stubby things are at the bottom. So I'm expecting something a lot lower from this. H Q G P Y U 9. Compute. 63% compatible. This is lower than average, indicating some of your preferences don't align well. Good communication helps. What is it going off? I mean, I guess a lot of things are up top that are like she's got age player up there, non-monogamist is up there, exhibitionist is up there. It's probably just going off those than anything that's like an actual dynamic. Because I kind of agree that an actual dynamic would not work very well. I'd love to know how it decides the percentages, though. I would love to know, like for the result and the compatibility. I don't really know what else to say. TBH, I feel like we've covered all our bases. And probably reached a natural end point. Even though it's not even been 2 hours. From what I've heard, they really like YouTube streams only being one thing. Chat, what should I do? Do you want me to do something else for like 1 hour? Do you want me to get started on the bow section of the Cinder Duck or something? To be fair, it makes sense. The BDSM test stream didn't last that long. True. My call? Uh, I think I'll end. Because, like, I do kind of still have to do something tomorrow. Should I still do Donut Donut tomorrow? Like, knowing that the Cinder Duck wants me to read it? I can't just not read the Cinder Duck, right? I'm feeling like next week I'm probably gonna stream uh not Tuesday, Wednesday. Tuesday or Wednesday off because I have a hospital visit on Wednesday. But I'll stream the other 5 days. Don't know what I'm gonna stream though. I guess I'll decide that tomorrow. But final thoughts on this. Uh what was it? Um these specific 4 things I disagree with and I think should be lower. This I think should be higher. The rest I agree with. Thank you for helping me overthink the hell out of this quiz, and I will read more Cinder Duck. Maybe later, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I'll decide. I'll probably just start at random if I'm doing it again later today. Very disorganized, but it's not a Lusceners style stream without scuff, and this one didn't really have scuff. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good dinner, and I hope you have a clearer schedule next week.